talking with Tucker about he's getting a nod on Friday.
Yeah.
Kind of just maybe walk through why Tucker and why now's the time for that move.
Well, we wanted to do something different on Friday. It hasn't really been working out very well for us, and we've found ways to win series, but need to win every game we can. And not that Will hasn't given us a shot, but we just felt like Tucker maybe could get us off to a better start. And he's built up, and he's had an 80 pitch outing already, and he's got the mentality. He was excited to get the opportunity. Just his importance to our pitching staff in general, and just the demeanor in which he takes the mound is, reminiscent a little bit of McConaughey, just in terms of the mound presence and the competitiveness.
On Friday night, how much are you aware of the intangible pieces
Yeah.
that you just kind of mentioned? How much does that factor in?
A lot, yeah. And again, this is nothing disparaging about Will, because he's been super competitive and all the things you'd love to have in a pitcher. It's just you got to look at the totality of things, and it hasn't really worked out that well. So then you say, okay, well, we can move Horn up a day. He's been throwing well. Then you have to say, well, you have to short rest him, and then you short rest him the next week, and he's doing well where he's at. So, Brockett's been maybe our most consistent guy. That's 2 days for him. So Tucker was kind of a logical choice, and it made sense for us because of that piece of it. Just he's the type of guy we felt like he would have been in the mix to start this year, and probably would have long by now had he been healthy, probably at this point in the season.
Tucker mentioned it, but can you kind of speak to the work that he's had to do to kind of build himself up to this point post-injury to be able to start?
Yeah, sure. He was throwing the baseball as soon as he could, after his surgery. Actually before his surgery he was able to throw, and then he had a period of time where he wasn't able to throw at all. But he's the guy you gotta just pull the reins back on, because he's just chomping at the bit constantly to improve in every area. So I know it's been a lot of hard work he's had to put in behind the scenes while we're traveling. He's having to do some of that stuff early when he wasn't available, having to do that stuff on his own, throw into a sock net or a screen, while we're gone. So yeah, there's just been a lot that's gone into it for him, but never going to make an excuse, never going to come up with a reason why he can't get something done.
What's the realistic expectation for length that he can give you in the first start?
Like I said, he's had an 80 pitch outing already. It's all going to come down to how stressful are the innings and how long are the innings. I think he's built up to get us off to a good start, and I guess if he's only thrown 50 or 60, 70, 80 pitches through 5 or 6 innings, man, he's really rolling, right? But realistically, we'll just see. We'll see how far it goes. I'm not going to put an inning limit on it. I'm not going to really put a pitch limit on it. I think it's the game will tell us, what needs to be done.
What's kind of the downhill effect of that on the bullpen and the way you think it's going to set?
Yeah, you saw it on Tuesday, right? We didn't have him available because we knew we were starting him, and so that hurt us in that particular game. And that's unfortunately just kind of where we're at, with having to cover those innings for him and Mac. But Walsh goes back to the pen. That's why we pulled him a little early in that start Tuesday, and he's done well in his career out of the bullpen. So he's a guy that can turn the lineup over multiple times and is equipped to do that. So the flip-flopping those two guys, Will's just going to need to step up for us.
Brockett described him as a bulldog. Is that a good image?
100%. Yeah, that's what he is. He's the guy that he's been a Husker for a really long time, and he committed to us as early as you can really commit to a school, and just said that's where I want to be, and he's all about the right stuff.
You guys have league weeks are behind you. You've got these league weekends now. Does that bring a little more clarity, maybe, to just kind of how things line up and what's at stake for you guys now?
Yeah, you don't have to make any decisions on who's going to start, a midweek game or Tuesday. Now we are starting to think about, okay, like if we can, play well the last 2 weeks and get to Omaha, what does that look like? Who are kind of that, because that pot shrinks even more, right, when you're in a do or die type situation. So, again, we're always going to pitch guys who think it's a chance to win, but not having to cover an extra 9 innings during the week can certainly help us.
What's Butenbach's status for this series?
He'll be out. Yeah, unfortunately, he'll be out. He's still not feeling well, and I think he's here today. Maybe I haven't seen him yet, but I think he's here today for the first time. He's had fever, and don't really want to get too much into the logistics, but he will not be available, unfortunately. Crazy that would happen, but yes.
Anybody else unavailable this weekend?
I've Worthley. He has not been. He's one maybe you asked me about before. He's still, again, not injured, but not feeling great. So bullpen today, see how he feels, and maybe we can get him back next week.
This is the last home weekend for a lot of guys that have played a lot of baseball here at Haymarket Park. Just what does maybe that senior class mean to you, and just also hoping to finish on a high note here at Haymarket Park?
Yeah, these guys, some of them have been here for 4 years and kind of been our first full recruiting class, and seen the ups and downs, and they've poured a lot into creating the culture here and the family atmosphere here and the clubhouse, just the way that it is. And, I'm going to miss those guys. And, it's crazy, too, that we're sitting here talking about a potential ruling of having some of these guys have another year. Because we don't have any clue what that's going to look like moving forward, right? Like how many can be on the roster, how many scholarships do you have, are they exempt, is their money exempt? So it's crazy to think about. So there's going to be some guys that go through senior day that theoretically could come back as well. So it's bizarre. It's the world we live in college sports. But the guys that don't have any eligibility left, they've dumped it all out on the line for this program for sure. And I appreciate it.
Have you even started those conversations with those guys? I mean, because you got that, you got the house stuff out there too. I mean, how do you put together a roster?
Preliminary, yes. Thing about it is everybody else is in the same boat as we are, but yeah, it just makes from a unique set of circumstances, and us maybe more so because we do have more junior college players that could grab that extra year, but we don't know if it's 40, if it's 34, if it's 36, how many scholarships. Again, it just there's not really any finality to it right now, so it's hard to really give answers to anybody about anything.
Rocket was talking about the fall sort of setting the tone for the fight that this team shows after a loss, being able to bounce back. Do you go that far back too, kind of when this team started to develop that characteristic of just kind of being able to shrug things off and fight?
I just think it's part of kind of who we are now. I mean, these guys have seen that. Rocket, Christo, some of these guys that have been here for a long time, and kind of seen the progression of, a team their freshman year that didn't really have a growth mindset and never really fought through some stuff to the next year. We had a good team, we just had a good RPI, and then last year figuring out a way, and then this year just not making excuses for the reasons why, we've been tested in a lot of ways, and they just keep showing up, and that's what I told them after the game Tuesday. I said, this game's pretty kind of indicative of this season. It's like it's down 6-0, everybody counted you out. Down 4 runs in the last inning, everybody counted you out. You guys just keep fighting when you easily could just say, you know what, it's not our day, it's not our year, it's not our week. It's just part of kind of ingrained in who these guys are, and how much it means to them to show up and have a chance to win every day. And just got to keep that mindset up, and see how long it can take us the rest of the year.
Michigan impressions?
Yeah, very offensive. Obviously, very good team, playing very well, athletic, well coached. They have a deep pitching staff. There's a reason that they've won this year. Is they got a talented team, and they've had a good schedule and won some good big games this year. So yeah, we need to play well. We need to again give ourselves a chance on Friday. I mean that's the big thing, and come out and set the tone early.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kim.